Hello, 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 and welcome to Walk Talk Health. Beautiful. If you're interested in better gut health, digestion, better immune system, better lower inflammation, lower blood pressure, then this is the video for you. We're going to be discussing the health benefits of fermented foods, which are firstly delicious, but are unbelievably beneficial for us, as we're going to discover on this incredible walk and talk. We're here just outside of Sedona in Arizona in this beautiful canyon trail. I'll tell you more about that in a minute. Let's get on with the walk. I'm looking forward to this one. Absolutely stunning views already. Evidently, Cary Grant and other celebs stayed in there before obviously it was dilapidated. We're right at the start to the trail, so pretty cool place to base yourself, and then you get on with the trail. So this canyon view walk is roughly 4 miles, 4.1 miles. There are toilet facilities, actually very nice toilet facilities at the beginning of the walk. You do have to get here very early in the morning if you want to get parked inside the park. So the first one we can discuss in terms of fermented food is yogurt. We actually make our own at home because then we can choose the beneficial bacteria that we can put in it to make sure we get maximum gut health. But any yogurt is basically a probiotic. If you can get something that's organic and even better still with some live culture in it, then that's the way to go. So what does yogurt do for us? Let's find out. It's the probiotics themselves that boost the gut microbiome. Now, why is that important? The microbiome is literally where all health in the body starts. We have these trillions of bacteria in us, both beneficial and non-beneficial. Obviously, we want more of the beneficial ones that actually are the ones that break down our food. When we eat something, the stomach acid starts off the digestive process, but it doesn't actually extract all the nutrients and benefits. That's what the bacteria do inside our gut. So keeping those guys happy and healthy is very, very important. So by taking in the yogurt, which has basically got food for the microbiome and actually contains some of the microbiome bacteria itself. Now the difference is the bacteria in yogurt actually pass straight through the body, but whilst they're actually passing through, they actually give off chemicals that help the bacteria that actually live in our microbiome. So because of this, it can actually help lower blood pressure. The actual probiotics produce compounds that relax the blood vessels that our blood flow through, and therefore if you have relaxed blood vessels and the blood moving more smoothly and freely, you get lower blood pressure. Yogurt also reduces inflammation because it's a natural ACE inhibitor. We don't want inflammation because we know that inflammation is the cause of all major disease that we face in modern society. So keeping down inflammation is a good thing, and yogurt will help you do that, which is fantastic. And I love eating yogurt. So moving on to number 2, sauerkraut. If you're not sure what that is, it's basically cabbage and other bits of vegetables that are chopped up finely. They're then put in a salt solution and allowed to ferment for a number of days. And as a result of that, good bacteria is released into it. So it tastes kind of a little bit sour, a bit vinegary. I think it's delicious, but it's packed full of these bacteria and probiotics again. Let's look at what that does for us. Actually, before we get into the benefits of sauerkraut, just thought I'd show you some of the incredible scenery that we're seeing already at the start of this walk. Mountains just towering above us, catching the morning sunlight. Sky's beautiful blue sky. So far, really nice trail. So sauerkraut aids digestion again. It supports a healthy gut microbiome, which, as I say, is absolutely key. We want lots of good, friendly bacteria in our gut. And the reason it supports it is unbelievably rich in fiber. Good bacteria in our gut likes fiber to consume. The bad bacteria likes sugars. So if you have lots of pasta, bread, alcohol, sweets, candies, those kinds of things in your diet, then you're feeding the bad bacteria. And you normally know that that's the case because you get things like gas and bloating, because they produce those gases when they consume the sugars. If you give the fiber to the good bacteria, it's not that you won't get any of that, but it's much more reduced, and basically that keeps those guys very healthy. So as a result of eating all that fiber, the bacteria give off chemicals that act as a powerful antioxidant. Now what's that? So when we eat, exercise, breathe, anything basically biological that means we have to burn energy, we have something called mitochondria in every cell of our body. They're organelles, and those mitochondria take oxygen and ATP and they burn it to produce energy. But as a byproduct of that, we get this oxidative stress. It's literally like metals rust when it gets exposed to waters and oxygen. It's the same in our body. So by consuming sauerkraut, you produce this antioxidant effect, and you help therefore reduce the oxidation. Oxidation then turns into inflammation, and inflammation, as we keep saying, chronic inflammation is the cause of all major chronic diseases. I'm just going to stop for a second and show you this amazing stream we just got to. Look at this. Beautiful. I'm right in the middle of the stream at the moment. I'm going to try not to fall off a rock. This is beautiful. And now we're going to be basically continuing over there. So moving on to number 3, we're looking at kefir. If you've not heard of that before, again, this is something I actually make at home myself, and it's made from milk, whole milk. You basically buy these little kefir grains, they call them grains, and you put them into milk and you leave them for 24 to 36 hours at room temperature, and they start to again ferment into something that's a bit like a yogurt. It's much thinner in constituency. It's maybe a bit more sour than yogurt. It's not quite sour milk, which is obviously disgusting, but again, it's full of these amazing bacteria, and let's see what that does for us. So in terms of kefir, it has even more diverse probiotics than in yogurt. So again, it's these good bacteria that are actually found in the kefir. And again, most of these do not take up residency inside our intestines. They pass through the body. But whilst they pass through the body, they give off amazing compounds, and they help the good bacteria that are established in our intestines and digestive system to help them with their health and to do what they're good at doing. In particular, the bacteria that pass through our body and the chemicals they give off actually help with things like lactose digestion. So, you hear about people being lactose intolerant. Well, that actually helps the body break down the lactose that you find in milk, and helps for those kind of people that have that lactose intolerance. And it also helps with bone health because of, again, helping the body to extract calcium from the food that we eat. So pretty cool. Last but not least, we're looking at kimchi. Now this is very similar to sauerkraut, but it is actually spicy. I think it's from Korea. I could be wrong on that, but I think it's Korean originating from. Sauerkraut it was a German term, and kimchi, I believe, is from Korea, and that has far more diverse vegetables chopped up in it, not just the cabbage. Typically sauerkraut is near enough always just cabbage. You can do kind of little bits of carrot and stuff in it, but kimchi has a big mix of different vegetables, and it is quite spicy. Me personally, I think it's delicious, but I can only tolerate a little bit at a time. So let's see what kimchi does for us. Kimchi not only does all those amazing probiotic effects that we've got from everything we've discussed so far, but it's also packed with vitamins. And those vitamins in particular, our body uses to fight inflammation directly. So again, back to inflammation. What is that? That's literally the body's defense mechanism. Something internally is going on that the body's not happy with. It sends, I think it's cytokines is the correct term for it, to that place of inflammation to fight it and to heal it, in the same way that when we get a cut, we form a scab. Now obviously you can't do that inside the body, so the body sends stuff to fight the inflammation. Now in the process of doing that, if we don't get that inflammation down, then we can get all kinds of things like blood vessels swell up and we get high blood pressure. We can get things stuck to the side of our blood vessels. Again, I'm just going to stop for a second. Look at this, another amazing stream. Beautiful. This is just such an incredible, probably the best trail we've done up here in Arizona so far. It's just stunning. Sorry, getting back to what I was just saying. So basically it fights inflammation, and the probiotics in the kimchi, which are even more, I believe, than sauerkraut, they strengthen the immune system, and that's important. Right, let's see if we can get across this stream without falling in. So just working my way across. Luckily there's quite a few big boulders to walk on. Yep, made it. Awesome. So let's look at a couple of studies that backs all this up. It's all very well me telling you it does these amazing things, but studies, if they're done properly, and these two in particular have been, kind of prove the point and might encourage you to try some of these fermented foods yourself. Interestingly, also things like cheese are fermented, but they don't have quite the same amount of probiotic effects. So, two key studies. The first one, the 2021 Stanford study in California, showed that eating fermented foods daily for 10 weeks boosted gut microbiome diversity. So that's the number of different types of those good bacteria in our gut and digestive system. And it lowered 19 inflammatory markers. So when you want to measure inflammation, you can do a blood test that actually tells you what's going on within the body, and 19 of those markers were actually reduced. Another study from the same team at Stanford looked at the immune response, and they found that in just a few weeks, let alone the 10 weeks where they got those other benefits were measured in terms of inflammation, just a few weeks, and the immune response was greatly improved. So these foods really do help with the immune system, which is the body's natural defense, right, against anything that tries to get in and make us sick. So I hope what we've discussed has encouraged you to try fermented foods. I think personally they're delicious. Great with salads. You can eat them on their own even because of the flavors involved. But yeah, do your own research as always. So I guess in terms of how much you take, etc., that's very much based on individual preference. I think you can have too much in terms of upsetting your stomach if you sat there eating certainly the kimchi being spicy. But clearly, I would say you need to take it at least 3 times a week, consume it 3 times a week as a minimum. Anything above that is entirely up to you. You certainly won't do any harm, and listen to your body. If you find you start getting gas or something from consuming things like the sauerkraut, etc., then just back off the amount you're eating on a weekly basis. Also, I guess important to mention, you want to go for organic wherever you can. The problem with anything that's non-organic is that it tends to be sprayed significantly with pesticides, things like glyphosate, which have been proven to cause all kinds of problems in the body, including investigations suggesting it causes cancers. So you really want to avoid that. Okay, it's that time to ask for your help again, please. This channel is in no way monetized. Its sole purpose is for me to reach as many people as I can, people just like you, and help them on their health journey. If you've received any benefit from this particular walk and talk or any of my previous walk and talks, can I ask a big favor? Can I please ask you to hit the like, subscribe, the bell notification if you want automatic notification of my next video. But can you also leave a comment? Maybe tell me where in the world you're watching from. I'd love to hear that. Ask a question about the fermented foods we discussed. Tell me where you like to walk yourself perhaps. Better still, can you share this with people that might benefit from its content? Either way, whatever you can do to help this channel is gratefully appreciated. Anything you can do to help me helps others, and therefore I thank you in advance. Thank you. The river seems to run the whole length of the canyon, and it's pretty awesome. Okay, another river to cross. Hopefully this one's not too difficult. Let's get across it. Okay, stood right in the middle of the river. Fantastic. How cool is this for nature's natural steps? We're having to go up here. Easier said than done. Yeah, made it. Okay, this is a particularly pretty part of the trail. All this natural rock to walk on. And then you're walking alongside incredible water feature. Okay, time for the recap. So all 4 of these fermented foods are good probiotics. What does that mean? It means that they actually have good bacteria contained within them, that as they pass through our digestive system, they release chemicals and compounds that actually help with our body repair process. Secondly, they all help with things like anti-inflammation. We know that inflammation causes disease. Some of them are antioxidants in terms of bringing down that oxidative stress that causes the inflammation in the first place. As a result, we get things like better, lower blood pressure. We get better relaxation of the blood vessels, which as a by note, we should point out that if you've got relaxed blood vessels, it's also good for things like your circulatory and therefore heart health. And finally, the big one for me is they help support the immune system. The immune system being obviously what helps us fight off diseases and infections in the first place. Join me next time when we look at another food as medicine, which again I think will amaze you in terms of how something as simple as eating things that we can enjoy can help us on our journey to live longer, healthier. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this walk and talk. I certainly have. The trail has been absolutely incredible. One of the best trails I think I've walked. Absolutely thoroughly enjoyed it. If you enjoy the short series that we're doing on food as medicine, then I'd recommend you check out some of the others. For example, one I did last on sardines. You won't believe how something as simple as a fish can cause amazing health benefits for us. Definitely check out that one. Okay, thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.